Hi everyone, welcome back to Real Patriot Patty. I'm your host Patty. Today's video, we are going to be talking about a biological man winning first place at the 2024 USA Weightlifting Masters Nationals, where a man competed with women and of course won first place, as this biological man identified himself as a trans male athlete. So not only he won in the women's division getting first place, he took the trophy away from actual biological women, where the society we live in now has normalized the fact that biological men, whatever they feel like or want to identify as, can become now women, and where biological women need to be identified as biological women because they're actually women, and they are now losing to biological men in women's sports. So we have the division of men's sports and women's sports, yet men are also winning in women's sports. So when we're speaking about gender equality and feminism that the woke left always pushes, where is equality and where is feminism in this case? In today's video, I'm briefly going to be talking about this biological man participating in the women's and winning first place, the rules on transgender athletes, and most important of all, how this impacts us real biological women, the fact that men can compete now in women's sports. First, let's talk about the story. This is a 57-year-old Vicky Piper, a biological man, that came in first place in the women's 76 kilogram weight category. Piper lifted 56 kilograms, around 123 pounds, and in the clean and jerk, Piper lifted 71 kilograms, about 156 pounds. So Piper, the man, came out on top over the other woman competitor that was not much far behind. Yet, the woman athlete that has been training for years, lifting heavy weights, did not win first place, despite the fact that she actually did. But the trophy was given to a man who is taller, bigger, stronger, and most of all, is a man. How can a woman compete with a man? First of all, women should never compete with men in a women's sport, now allowing biological males. But how could a woman that is smaller, not as strong, not as big, tall, and muscular as a man lift the same amount of weight? It is impossible. Now, let's talk about the rules on trans athletes. The fact that we can even allow any athletes that are trans, meaning their biological sex is different, so they are in fact a man, like in this case, not a woman, that is still supported and allowed. So let's go over in this case what the rules were. According to the USA weightlifting rules, transgender athletes state that trans-identified males must show evidence of undergoing hormone therapy for at least 2 years to minimize gender-related competition advantages. To minimize gender-related competition advantages, you literally have a man that is bigger, stronger, taller, that is a man, so his chromosomes are different, his body, his build is different. And you're saying that for 2 years they undergo hormone therapy, then that's okay. So in this case, this man is 57 years old. So for the past 55 years, you are a man, you train like a man, you lift like a man, you are wired differently, you have bigger muscles, bigger strength. But if for 55 years you do all of that, and then because for 2 years now you have hormones, then it's okay, you can compete with women. That is absurd. Moreover, trans weightlifters must submit a formal letter requesting to participate in a USAW sanctioned event, as well as an application that is reviewed by the committee, which can request things such as relevant medical records of the athlete, and a decision is made. So let me get this straight. You have a women's sport where a committee has to review someone's application and their medical records to decide if they can or cannot compete with women. How can you even have a committee deciding in a women's sport if biological men can compete with women? Now, let's talk about the big issue here, and that is women. Biological, real women, not transgender men, not biological men now identifying as something else based on their feelings and emotions and what they want and how they want people to see them, but based on biology and based on reality, applying logic, not fiction. Women today have less rights than ever before. We need to go over the basics of what a woman is, which the left Democrats cannot answer. The basics of not allowing men participate in women's sports because a woman will never be able to win a sport. Promoting degeneracy and then manipulating, brainwashing, indoctrinating women into pushing for feminism that they are standing for women's rights when they are literally stripping away your rights. This is not the first time this has happened. Unfortunately, this is not the last time it has happened, but I cannot believe there's any one woman that supports this. How can these women compete with a biological male and stand with him on stage? You just lost, not because you are unqualified. You actually won first place, but you were not handed a trophy in the win because it's given to a biological man that took that away from you based on what he identifies and feels like. That is disgraceful to all women's sports, to all young girls, young women. Yet this behavior continues over and over and over again that is supported by the woke left and the Democrats that are gaslighting you into believing that they are for women. In reality, they are not. The Biden administration changed Title IX that allows this behavior. It allows biological men based on how they identify to be participating in women's sports. That means a young girl and young women will never be able to win in any sport for the rest of this country's history. You have feminists who say, oh yes, girl power, men need to be equal to women, gender equality. Yet you allow biological males to take away the only win you can get in the sport that a division just for women is specifically created. This cannot be allowed. We have people in this country that are ruling with pushing mental illness, with pushing everything on manipulation of feelings and emotions instead of looking at logic, basic biology, and violation of human rights. This is a violation of women's rights. The fact that we now have biological men saying that they feel like a woman so they can compete in our sport. Women in this scenario will never be able to win. And the fact that this is promoted by this administration, by the White House, through education, through sports, through social media, through Hollywood is unacceptable. A man just won in a women's sport. How crazy is that we first of all need to have this conversation and second of all see these events reoccurring over and over again without anyone protesting against it? How could we ever allow a biological male to compete with a woman? They are physically not the same. Mentally, they're not the same. Biologically, they're not the same. Our brains are not wired the same. So where is the equality? Where is the fight for human rights? Where is the fight for women's rights? It is all done through manipulation, indoctrination, brainwashing, and gaslighting for women to believe that the government and this administration is to help them, when in reality, feminism is destroying women. It is making women become men and men become women, as we clearly see here. This is such an important issue for people to realize. Feminism and brainwashing and indoctrinating women to believe that men and women are equal. Where is the equality here? To believe that we are fighting for women's rights, when in reality, they are stripping away women's rights. We have a biological man competing with women. Women will never be able to win in any of these scenarios because they are not as tall, not as strong, not as big, not as muscular, not wired the same internally and neurologically. Yet we have the woke left and the Democrats pushing this agenda. This is mental illness. They want to create a degenerate society. And that first starts with brainwashing people, brainwashing women into not wanting to be feminine, have kids, be moms, get married, have a family because they want to destroy the nuclear family unit. Because if you don't have God, you don't have family, you will never rebel and fight against a government that wants to control everything. And now we have men becoming feminine, and in this case, because of how they feel or identify, now they can become a woman. This is normalizing mental illness, degeneracy, and taking away all rights from women. This is an extremely important topic because people need to realize how sick it is that a biological man that now identifies as trans because he feels like he wants to be a woman, now competing with real biological women in women's sports, never allowing one more woman to win in any category because it is a man versus a woman. Men are not the same as women, men are stronger. So women will never be able to win. Women need to fight back against this. And my question always is, where are the feminists? Where are the feminists promoting feminism? Where are they brainwashing, indoctrinating, and pushing women into becoming like men? Where are the feminists who stand in theory for women's rights? Meanwhile, women's rights are being stripped away from us faster than ever before in history. This is detrimental to the future of women, to the future of this country, to the future of our society. It is all done on purpose, and this cannot be accepted. The fact that we have a man competing with women and winning, getting first place, is absolutely insane. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you, and may God bless America. I will see you in my next episode.